I'm very excited. Tom, what vacation plans do you have this year? Do you have anything that you want to do, or any travel plans this year? Any weddings?
Surprisingly, I think there are no weddings this season. I'm so happy about that because the past two has been just going every which way. I think we had a wedding in each state last year: Delaware, Pennsylvania, Chicago, and Illinois. So it's been a lot of moving around, and I'm glad that we're probably going to be slowing down, pumping the brakes a little bit. But coming up in March, first vacation sort of thing, we're going to be going to see the Dropkick Murphys playing in Lancaster on Tuesday night. Or was that Monday night? Tuesday night, either or. It's during a weekday, so I'm going to stay out, party, stay out, drink some good Guinnesses, and probably go against my New Year's resolution of not drinking that much.
See, that's the thing about these New Year's resolutions. I'm not mad that you're making them. I think it's funny because I had this conversation with my girlfriend the other day about how, people are made fun of for New Year's resolutions. That's not what we're making fun of. We're not making fun of your New Year's resolution. I'm making fun of the fact that you make one and then give up on it. That's what I'm making fun of. And that sounds terrible, but if you're going to make a New Year's resolution, you got to commit to it, I think. I'm trying to get my body right, which is a very difficult thing to do, after drinking so much. But I'm fully committed to doing it. I dropped down a chunk of change for this gym that I'm going to now at Orange Theory, and I was like, you know what? If I'm dropping this amount of money to go every month, I'm just going to go. I'm going to schedule myself to go every day and push myself and try to get that summer bod that everyone wants. It's a good goal to have. I hate how people try to influence how, you're trying to do this goal. It's so funny. Like, look, don't let other people put some negative energy in your life. That's not what that's about. Like, look, people are going to challenge you left and right all around. If you're going to set goals, you got to push yourself through it. Goals are made to be broken. If you're going to set the goal high, then you got to make sure that you go get it. So that's just my word of advice there. So, speaking of goals here, the MLS continues to expand their number of teams and will be adding a 27th Major League franchise as of the year 2021. And it's going to be Austin FC. That is the name of the team. Austin as in Austin, Texas. The league announced Tuesday that will be open just in time for its new stadium to open. Austin will become the first top-level professional sports team in Austin, the 11th largest city in the country and growing. And the city is regularly among the top-performing markets when it comes to soccer viewership. And the MLS hopes the city's vibrant culture and equally energetic fan base following. So, Tom, what are your thoughts? MLS, I don't know how much MLS you do watch, but it's interesting how the expansion has grown. Again, you have a couple teams sitting in the wings, Nashville FC, and I believe you have Miami FC coming in 2020, and then Austin FC in 2021. What is this league trying to prove here by having more and more teams, in its top flight?
Well, first off, go Chicago Fire. I always go for my hometown team. Go Cubs, except for Chicago Bears, go Green Bay. When it comes down to MLS and their expansion, it's good to see, especially because we want to show the world that we want to be at their level. Yes, the MLS is considered to be like a retirement league when it comes to top premier players coming over. David Beckham, Wayne Rooney, basically coming over and playing a couple of years in the MLS to get the fan base up and then retiring. I don't think the U.S. wants to be that. We want to actually be contenders against the world. We want to be at the top level of the Premier. We want to be in the Premier League. We want to be in the Champions League. We want to be the best. So the expansion is helping cultivate teams around the United States. It seems like they're building more upon the youth programs in order to get that level of play to where Germany's at, to where England's at, basically. So I see this as a good thing. Expansion, definitely. I know Austin's FC Stadium is going to be holding about 20,000 people. I think it's a great thing. It's very good. Do I see any bad or ugly stuff? A little bit. It'll depend on how much people want to keep with the MLS. there are more teams coming in. Will it spread around? Like, will some states actually pump up their teams, or will it be like the Chicago Cubs, basically, where you have a fan base all around the area? If you're a Portland Timber, you have fans on the East Coast, South Coast, North Coast, West Coast. So I wouldn't want to spread the MLS too thin. Just know where your market is. And I don't think I have an ugly for this.
Yeah, I don't think I have an ugly yet. I think the thing is, the NFL has 30 teams, I believe 30 teams. The NBA has roughly 30 teams, and the MLS is growing, and it will have 27 by 2021. I think the conversation that a lot of people are having is, when are we going to have relegation promotion in America? In other sports leagues around the country, you do have that. And for those who don't know what that is, basically the top 3 teams, the top 4 teams move on to European competition and play the best, and which was called the Champions League. And if not, they drop down into another pot called the Europa League, which is just as competitive in some respects. And if you finish the top, if you finish the top 3, the below 3, the bottom 3, you will get relegated to the division below. The problem is, there isn't a strict definition as to where that second tier will be. Is it the United Soccer League, the USL? Is it the there's a couple other leagues as well where they don't know where they're going to go. What that true second division means for U.S. Soccer. We have two second division teams, 2 second division leagues, and that's the issue there. And obviously, I think right now it's just growth and popularity among the sport. As this article mentions in the 18.com, Austin's a very soccer recognizable city. They're one of the most growing markets in the city. They are what Portland is, Portland's equivalent of how weird it can be. So obviously they're going to love their soccer. They have the colors similar to what the Timbers are. So I expect nothing but great fan base from day one. Now it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I don't see anything bad about this right now. I think at a certain point, the world needs to recognize how good U.S. soccer is. In the last couple of seasons, we've had some players move over to Europe. You had Alphonso Davies from the Vancouver Whitecaps sign over at Bayern Munich, played in some games already, and he's 16 years old, 17 years old, or 18 years old at this point. And then you have Zach Steffen, the goalkeeper from the Columbus Crew, who's moving over to Manchester City in the summer. And obviously he's not going to play right away, but he's going to Europe and going to get some playing time. You never know. American goalies in Europe, especially in England, have played particularly well, namely Casey Keller, Brad Friedel, Brad Guzan a little bit, and of course Tim Howard. They've played well in the English Premier League, and I think Zach Steffen has the ability to be the next great player in England. Obviously, we mentioned about Christian Pulisic on the last podcast going to Chelsea, what his future could be. And you read all about that on my latest post on the spicysportswithsam.wordpress.com. You can go check that out. I don't see anything bad about this right now. So there's nothing that's too bad about it. The ugly is just, at one point, when do you stop growing and when do you start realizing, okay, there needs to be pro relegation? That's just my thoughts. Tom, any final thoughts before we go to break here?
Not for the MLS, no.
There we go. Perfect. And so we're going to take one final break here, 30 seconds. After that, Tom, we got our final topic coming up. As you know, you can talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. It can be sports. It doesn't have to be about sports. It can be about whatever you want it to be. So we're going to take a break, 30 seconds. When we come back, the good, bad, the ugly, episode 2 on Spreaker Radio. And welcome back to The Good, Bad, the Ugly, Episode 2 on Spreaker Radio. Sam Stroh and Tom Crane coming to you live from Portland, Oregon and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Tom, thank you again for coming on the podcast, as you always do, on every Tuesday, as you always do. Listen to the podcast. It typically will be on every Tuesday. I will throw some on the weekends as well. I may be a little bit off for the next couple of days, but I'm going to try to see if I can get a podcast in before I go off to sea for a couple days, going off to Jamaica, the Grand Caymans, Mexico. It'll be a fun couple days there, but when I'm in Fort Lauderdale, I'll see if I can, put on a podcast and hopefully be sober enough to record it. So we'll see what happens there. So Tom, final topic here. Do you want me to go first? Or do you want to go first for your final topic?
I can go first.
All right, Tom, what do you got?
All right, so I'm going to actually go backwards from the ugly, the bad, the good. So, new year, new you. What do you think about that? Ugly part about that basically is you don't need to think every single year, I'm going to be a new person. No, just be yourself. Be the person that you should be each and every single year, day in, day out. The bad part about that, we got Sam saying that he's going to do the resolution, and me, myself, saying that, hey, I'm going to not drink as much, or I'm going to get my body in shape. Bad part about that is you're not going to fail. Just keep your mind set up high. Aim for that high goal because that's what you do. Don't think that you can't hit it, because if you think that, that's the bad part about it. You're going to fail. So don't put that negativity into your life. Be positive about it. And the good part about the new year, new you, basically, it is a fresh start. And I did say that, hey, you don't want to think about that, but it is technically a fresh start when it comes to feeling free in the new year, basically. If you do have a resolution, go get it. I know you can do it. I have positive feelings. I may not know you, but guess what? I believe in you. And that's what it comes down to, is having belief in yourself, having belief in others, and that's the good.
There you go, Tommy. Look at that, all inspirational. That's good. See, this is what it's all about. Like, I'm all for New Year's resolutions. I'm not making fun of your New Year's resolution. I'm going to make fun of it if you don't attain it, or if you don't continue to not necessarily don't attain it, but if you don't push yourself to it. That's what I make fun of. I don't like people in my life that don't go after what they want. Like, that's not who I am. That's not the type of people I want surrounded by me. And that's just, I like people who have goals and like to push themselves. Whether it be a small goal as, trying to save up money for something, or as big as, want to be on TV or radio. So or something bigger than that. So, I'm all for goals. You just got to keep going, got to push it. So thanks, Tom. I do appreciate that as the final topic for today. So, for me, I'm going to talk about Cody Parkey. Obviously, a lot has been made in your hometown, Tommy, of Chicago, about Cody Parkey missing the game-winning field goal, or supposed game-winning field goal, against the Philadelphia Eagles in the wild card round. The ugly, a lot of people booed him. That wasn't good. That was very ugly, especially from the home fans. He was 3 for 3 before that missed kick, and he decided not to. He couldn't make it, and it happens in sports. You're not going to make the field goal. And me as a Bills fan, you got Scott Norwood wide right. So that is what I hear every time I'm a Bills fan. Every time I mention a Bills fan. So I get it. The bad is Cody Parkey missing because of all of that negativity. And of course, the good, he took that interview as good as he could have. And I know I mentioned all of this on the podcast on Saturday, but I do have a gooder portion of this. I don't know if you saw this week, Tom, but 101 people outside of a bar in Chicago attempted to kick a 43-yard field goal, and it was for beer, a year's supply of beer, which is a great motivation, great way to kick off the new year. Out of 101 people, all of them missed it. All of them missed it, including ESPN's Mike Golick Jr., who happened to shank it really hard wide left, not even close to the left, mainly just to the wall, to almost breaking a window there in Chicago. And it goes to show you, look, I like that. I like that. Look, people are willing to try, and it puts things in perspective. If you happen to have ESPN Plus, I would go ahead and check out Late Night with Katie Nolan. I think she has a great show. I haven't watched a lot of it myself yet, but I know a lot of the clips on YouTube, and particularly one where basically she takes tweets people saying, "Oh, I can do that. That's so easy," and then brings them on, and then makes them try to do it. They have them try to attempt what they think they can do, which a lot of it has to do with kicking and punting, and a lot of them can't even get it off the tee, which is great, and it goes to show you, how much social media, the toxic environment that it is, but people really understanding, hey,